I find out that my husband is having an affair with my stepsister but don't have enough proof. So I hire a pie to find out more. I, 28F, have a complicated family situation that I need some advice on. My parents divorced when I was 10, and my mom remarried when I was 14. This brought my stepsister, Bella, 29F, into my life. From the beginning, Bella and I didn't get along. We were complete opposites in many ways. I was more of a bookworm and focused on my studies, while Bella was outgoing and popular. She always seemed to hate me for getting good grades and praise from our parents for my academic achievements. I'll admit, the one thing that always bothered me was that Bella was objectively more attractive than me. She had this effortless beauty that made people stop and stare. I felt plain in comparison, which didn't help our relationship. Throughout high school, Bella would often make comments about my appearance or social life. She'd say things like, "You're so lucky you're smart because you'll need it to make up for your looks." Or she'd mock me for staying home to study on weekends instead of going to parties. When we both got into the same college, I thought maybe we'd grow closer as adults. But Bella just continued her pattern of subtle put-downs and trying to one-up me. If I got an A on a test, she'd brag about some guy asking her out. When I landed a good internship, she'd counter by talking about her modeling gigs. After college, we both moved back to our hometown. I started my career in marketing, while Bella pursued acting and modeling. We saw each other at family gatherings, but there was always tension. Bella would find ways to belittle my job or relationship status while playing up her glamorous lifestyle. 2 years ago, I married my husband, Will. He's kind, funny, and supportive, everything I could want in a partner. When I introduced him to my family, I noticed Bella paying him extra attention. At first, I brushed it off as her being friendly, but over time, I started to feel uncomfortable with how Bella acted around Will. Whenever we visit my stepdad's house, she goes out of her way to flirt with him. She'll touch his arm while laughing at his jokes, or find excuses to be alone with him. What bothers me most is that Will doesn't seem to mind the attention. He says Bella is just being friendly, but I can't shake the feeling that something more is going on. Last month, we went to a family barbecue at my stepdad's place. Bella showed up in a tiny bikini, even though it wasn't really warm enough for swimming. She spent the whole afternoon hanging around Will, giggling at everything he said. At one point, I went inside to use the bathroom. When I came out, I saw Bella and Will talking quietly by themselves in the hallway. They jumped apart when they saw me, which made me instantly suspicious. I confronted Bella later that day, asking her to back off and stop flirting with my husband. She got defensive and said I was being paranoid. She accused me of always being jealous of her and said it wasn't her fault if Will found her attractive. This led to a big argument where years of bitterness came out. I told Bella I was sick of her always trying to one-up me and steal attention. She fired back that I was pathetic for being threatened by her natural charm. Our parents got involved and tried to mediate, but it just made things worse. My mom sided with me, while my stepdad defended Bella. It ended with Bella storming out and me leaving in tears. Since then, things have been tense in the family. Bella is playing the victim, telling everyone I attacked her out of jealousy. My stepdad thinks I overreacted and should apologize. Even my mom, while supportive, suggested I might be reading too much into things. Will insists nothing is going on between him and Bella. He says I'm letting my insecurities get the best of me. But I can't shake the feeling that something isn't right. I don't know what to do. Am I overreacting? Should I trust my gut feeling? Or am I letting old insecurities cloud my judgment? Part of me wonders if I'm the asshole for confronting Bella and causing this family drama. Maybe I am just being overly sensitive. But another part of me feels justified in standing up for my marriage and telling Bella to back off. I'm torn between wanting to keep the peace and feeling like I need to protect my relationship. I don't want to cut ties with my family, but I also don't want to subject myself to this stress every time we visit. The situation has been affecting my mental health and my relationship with Will. I find myself constantly worrying about what might be happening when I'm not around. I've started checking Will's phone when he's not looking, which I know is wrong, but I can't help myself. I've tried talking to Will about my concerns, but he gets frustrated and says I need to trust him. He thinks I'm making a big deal out of nothing, and that my issues with Bella are clouding my judgment. Maybe he's right, but I can't shake this feeling of unease. I've thought about suggesting couples therapy, but I'm afraid Will might take it as an accusation. I don't want him to think I don't trust him, but at the same time, I feel like I need some outside help to navigate this situation. My friends are divided on the issue. Some think I'm justified in my concerns and that Bella's behavior is inappropriate. Others think I'm overreacting and that I should give Will and Bella the benefit of the doubt. It's hard to know who to listen to. I've also considered reaching out to Bella directly to try and clear the air. Maybe if we could have a calm, honest conversation, we could resolve some of our long-standing issues. But given how our last confrontation went, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. The whole situation has made me start questioning my self-worth. I've always felt inferior to Bella in terms of looks and social skills, And this situation is bringing all those insecurities to the surface. I find myself wondering if Will wishes he was with someone more like Bella, someone more outgoing and conventionally attractive. I know these thoughts aren't healthy, but I'm struggling to shake them. The constant stress and worry are taking a toll on me. I've been having trouble sleeping and concentrating at work. I feel like this situation is consuming my life. I've thought about suggesting to Will that we limit our visits to my stepdad's house, but I'm afraid that would only create more tension in the family. Plus, I don't want to punish my stepdad or make him feel like he has to choose sides. Part of me wonders if I should just try to ignore Bella's behavior and trust that Will wouldn't do anything to hurt me. But another part of me feels like that would be naive and potentially damaging to our marriage in the long run. I've also considered talking to my mom privately about the situation. She's always been supportive of me, and maybe she could offer some insight or advice. But I'm worried about putting her in an awkward position with my stepdad. At this point, I feel stuck. I don't want to be the cause of family drama, but I also don't want to ignore my feelings and let Bella's behavior continue unchecked. I'm worried that if I don't address this now, it will only get worse over time. I keep replaying past interactions in my mind, wondering if I missed any signs or if I'm blowing things out of proportion. Maybe Bella really is just naturally flirtatious and doesn't mean anything by it. Or maybe she's deliberately trying to get under my skin because of our past issues. I've thought about seeking individual therapy to work through my insecurities and learn how to handle this situation better. But part of me feels like that would be admitting defeat, like I'm the one with the problem instead of Bella. So Reddit, I turn to you for advice. Am I the asshole for confronting my stepsister about her behavior with my husband? Should I apologize and try to smooth things over? Or should I stand my ground and insist on better boundaries? Update. It's been a month since my last post, and I never expected things to turn out this way. I want to thank everyone who offered advice and support. Your comments made me realize I needed to trust my instincts and take action. After my last post, I tried to give Will the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to believe him when he said nothing was going on between him and Bella. But the nagging feeling in my gut wouldn't go away. I found myself constantly on edge, watching their interactions and second-guessing everything. About 2 weeks ago, I hit a breaking point. Will had left his phone on the coffee table while he was in the shower. I know it was wrong, but I couldn't help myself. I picked up his phone and started going through it. At first, I didn't find anything suspicious in his messages or social media. I was about to put the phone down, feeling guilty for invading his privacy, when I decided to check his photo gallery. That's when I saw it. In the recently deleted folder, there was a photo of Will and Bella. They were in what looked like a hotel room, both partially undressed and in an intimate embrace. My heart stopped. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I quickly sent the photo to my own phone as evidence, then put Will's phone back where I found it. When he got out of the shower, I acted like everything was normal. I knew I needed more proof before confronting him. The next day, I contacted a private investigator. I felt terrible about going behind Will's back, but I needed to know the truth. The PI agreed to follow Bella and gather evidence of any meetings between her and Will. For the next week, I lived in a state of constant anxiety. I went through the motions of daily life, pretending everything was fine while my world was crumbling inside. Will noticed I was distant, but assumed it was stress from work. After a week, the PI contacted me with their findings. They had photos and video evidence of Will and Bella meeting at a hotel on multiple occasions. There was no doubt about what was happening. The proof was undeniable. I spent a day crying and processing the information. Then I started planning my next steps. I contacted a divorce lawyer and began gathering all our financial information. I wanted to be prepared before confronting Will. Last weekend, I finally confronted Will with the evidence. I showed him the photo I found on his phone and the PI's report. At first, he tried to deny it, claiming the photo was old or that I was misunderstanding the situation. But when I showed him the dated photos and videos from the PI, he broke down. He admitted to having an affair with Bella for the past 6 months. He said it started as innocent flirting but quickly escalated. Will begged for forgiveness. He swore it was a mistake and that he would end things with Bella immediately. He promised to go to couples therapy and do whatever it took to save our marriage. But for me, the trust was irreparably broken. I told Will I wanted a divorce. He was shocked and tried to convince me to reconsider, but I stood firm. I had already contacted a lawyer and started the process. I asked Will to move out while we sorted things out legally. The next day, I called my mom and stepdad to tell them what happened. My mom was furious with Will and fully supported my decision. My stepdad was more conflicted. He expressed disappointment in Bella, but also suggested I consider forgiveness and reconciliation. I then called Bella. She initially tried to deny everything, but when I told her I had proof, she broke down. She alternated between apologizing profusely and trying to justify her actions. She claimed she had always been in love with Will and couldn't help herself. I told Bella I never wanted to see or speak to her again. I made it clear that she was no longer welcome in my life and that I would not be attending any family events where she was present. She cried and begged for forgiveness, but I ended the call. Over the next few days, news of the affair and our impending divorce spread through the family. Reactions were mixed. Some family members fully supported me, while others urged me to reconsider and give Will another chance. My stepdad, in particular, has been pushing for reconciliation. He keeps saying that marriages can survive affairs and that divorce should be a last resort. I think he's also worried about how this will affect his relationship with Bella and the overall family dynamic. Even some of my friends have suggested that I'm being too hasty. They've said things like, "Are you sure you want to throw away your marriage over one mistake?" Or, "Maybe couples therapy could help you work through this." But for me, this isn't just about the affair. It's about the months of lying, the betrayal of trust, and the fact that it was with my stepsister of all people. The thought of trying to rebuild a relationship on that foundation seems impossible to me. The divorce process is now underway. Will moved out last week, and we're working on separating our finances and belongings. It's been difficult and emotional, but I know it's the right decision for me. Bella has been trying to contact me through various family members. She sent long messages apologizing and asking for a chance to explain herself. I've ignored all of them. I'm not interested in her explanations or excuses. My mom has been my rock through all of this. She's been staying with me, helping me sort through things and providing emotional support. She's furious with Will and Bella and fully supports my decision to divorce. My stepdad, on the other hand, has been more distant. I think he's struggling to reconcile his love for Bella with the hurt she's caused. He's made a few attempts to encourage me to forgive her, but I've shut those down quickly. The hardest part has been dealing with the constant questions and opinions from family and friends. Everyone seems to have an idea of what I should do, and it's exhausting trying to explain my decisions over and over. Some have suggested that I'm overreacting or that I should have expected something like this given Bella's behavior. Others have praised me for standing up for myself and not accepting the betrayal. It's a mix of support and judgment that I'm still learning to navigate. I've started seeing a therapist to help me process everything. It's been helpful to have a neutral party to talk to about my feelings and decisions. She's been supportive of my choice to divorce and has been helping me work through the anger and hurt. One of the most difficult aspects has been coming to terms with the fact that my marriage wasn't what I thought it was. I keep replaying moments from the past 6 months, wondering how I missed the signs. The feelings of doubt and insecurity that I wrote about in my original post have only intensified. I've also had to face the reality that my relationship with my stepsister was even worse than I realized. The jealousy and competition I felt from her went far beyond what I had imagined. It's forced me to reevaluate a lot of our past interactions and family dynamics. As for Will, he's still trying to convince me to reconsider. He sent flowers, written letters, and even showed up at my work once, which I quickly shut down. He claims he's ended things with Bella for good and wants to prove he can be trusted again. But for me, that ship has sailed. Bella, for her part, seems to be playing the victim to some degree. From what I've heard through family, she's telling people that she was swept up in a moment of weakness and that she never meant to hurt me. Some family members seem to be sympathetic to her, which is frustrating. I've had to set firm boundaries with my family about discussing Bella or the situation. I've made it clear that I'm not interested in updates about her life or her side of the story. Some family members have respected this, while others continue to push. The divorce proceedings are moving forward. We're working on dividing assets and figuring out what to do with our house. Thankfully, we don't have children, which makes the process somewhat simpler. Still, it's painful to dismantle the life we built together. I'm trying to focus on the future now. I've thrown myself into my work and have been spending more time with friends who are supportive. I'm also thinking about making some bigger life changes. Maybe a new job, or even moving to a new city for a fresh start. There are moments when I question my decision. When I'm alone at night in our half-empty house, or when I see happy couples out and about. But then I remind myself of the betrayal, of the months of lies, and I know I'm making the right choice for myself. I won't lie. It's been incredibly difficult. There are days when I can barely get out of bed, when the weight of everything feels crushing. But there are also days when I feel stronger, when I'm proud of myself for standing up for what I deserve. Looking back at my original post, I can see now how much I was trying to convince myself that things weren't as bad as they seemed. I was so afraid of being seen as the jealous, insecure wife that I ignored my own instincts. I won't make that mistake again. To those who commented on my original post urging me to trust my gut and investigate further, thank you. Your words gave me the courage to seek the truth, even though it was painful. So that's where things stand now. I'm getting divorced. I've cut ties with my stepsister, and I'm navigating a new family dynamic. It's not where I expected to be a month ago, but I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm still angry. I'm still hurt. But I'm also hopeful for the future. I know now that I deserve better than what Will and Bella did to me. I'm looking forward to rebuilding my life on my own terms. Thank you all for your support and advice. It's been a difficult journey, but I'm grateful for the clarity and strength I found along the way.